What is up, book nerds? My name is Hillary and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be talking about some of the books I want to read before the end of the year, and most of these I want to get done this fall, and I'm excited to get to a bunch of them, and some of them I am very hesitant about because I've heard some very mixed reviews about them, and some of them are series that I want to finish. So without further ado, let's get right on into this video and talk about some of the books I want to finish before the end of the year. The first three that I have here are ones that I am down to the last three books in this series to read, and I am currently tandem reading two of the books together, and those books are Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, both by Sarah J. Maas. And then the last book I need to read is Kingdom of Ash, and I'm excited to get to these. Like I said, I've started these two already, and I'm enjoying them. Tower of Dawn to me is just kind of boring because it's all about KO, where Empire of Storm has a bunch of different points of view in it from all the regular characters throughout the series. But yeah, I'm enjoying these two and cannot wait to get to Kingdom of Ash. If you don't know what Throne of Glass is about, it is about this girl named Selena Sardothian, who is an assassin, and she ends up in this prison, but the prince of the city where she's from comes and takes her out of this prison to be part of this tournament for the King's Champion, and the King's Champion, if they win, will become basically the King's personal assassin, and they are with him for so many years, and they have a contract and all this. I'm really enjoying this series, and don't really want to talk about what these books are about, because if I do, it will give a bunch of stuff away that's from the other 5 books in this series. But yeah, I'm excited to get to the last 3 and finish these 2, and to see what I think of the complete series, because once I finish these, I have read all of Sarah J. Maas's books so far. The next book I'm hoping to get to in the next 2 months, with it being starting fall and Halloween's coming up, is The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I tried reading this last year and really wasn't in the mood for it, but I'm excited to get to it this year. And it says, in 1893, there's no such thing as witches. There used to be in the wild, dark days before the burnings began, but now witching is nothing but tidy charms and nursery rhymes. If the modern woman wants any measure of power, she must find it at the ballot box. But when the Eastwood sisters, James Juniper, Agnes Amaranth, and Beatrice Belladonna, join the suffragists of New Salem, they begin to pursue the forgotten words and ways that might turn the women's movement into the witches' movement, stalked by shadows and sickness, hunted by forces that will not suffer a witch to vote, and perhaps not even to live. The sisters will need to delve into the oldest magics, draw new alliances, and heal the bond between them if they want to survive. This one was very hyped last year, and I'm excited to get to it since the hype has kind of gone down a little bit, so then I'm not too excited for reading this, because I don't want to be really disappointed if I don't like it. The next book is one that is a newer release, and it is a chunker, and that book is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. I don't know much about this book, but what it says on the inside a little bit is a stunning new work of historical fantasy, and introduces readers to the dark labyrinth world of the Talons. And then England, 1882, the Victorian London, 2 children with mysterious powers were hunted by a figure of darkness, a man made of smoke. 16-year-old Charlie Ovid, despite a brutal childhood in Mississippi, doesn't have a scar on him. His body heals itself whether he wants it to or not. Marlowe, a foundling from a railway freight car, shines with a strange bluish light. He can melt or mend flesh. When a jaded female detective is recruited to escort them to safety, all 3 begin a journey into the nature of difference and belonging and the shadowy edges of monsters. This sounds really good, and I think it's going to be a great read during Halloween time. especially because it's spooky season, and what better way to read about monsters than during that time. The next book that I have on these stacks is one that was a very highly anticipated book of mine for this year because I've enjoyed some of this author's other books, and that book is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is about a woman who lives across the lake from this house. Something happens, and that's about all I want to know going into it. I've heard really mixed reviews about it, and I'm very scared to read it because I don't want to be disappointed again like I was in Survive the Night by him. But from what I heard is that he wrote this book more for him than for his audience, and I am excited to get to this and see what I personally think about it and whether it's time to give up on Riley Sager or not. So yeah, probably read this during October. The next couple of books that I'm going to be talking about, or the rest of the books I'm going to be talking about, are actually series that I want to finish or get to before the end of the year. And the first two we're going to talk about, the third one comes out this month, and I'm excited for it because then I can binge read these, are The Inheritance Game and The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I can't remember what the last one is called, but I know it's a red book. I'll put a picture of on the screen for you. But I'm excited to get to these. I have not read even the first one yet because I've heard it's really good, but I want to binge them because I don't think I could wait for the next book if I already read this. But The Inheritance Game is about this girl who is told this older guy died who was rich and his inheritance is left to her, and the family wants to know why type of thing. But I've heard it's kind of like Knives Out-ish vibes, and to me it kind of reminds me a little bit of the game Clue in the story. That's what the kind of vibes I'm getting from it. But I am excited to get to this series and to see what I think about it. The next three books are ones that I've had for a little while, and my mom actually keeps telling me I need to read them because the show is so good, and she's like, you need to read them and then watch the show. So I think I'm going to actually give them a chance this fall during spooky season, and those books are A Discovery of Witches, Shadow of Night, and The Book of Life, all three by Deborah Harkins. I don't know much about this, just that from what I've seen on like a trailer for the TV show is it has witches in it and like vampires, and for me that's all I need to know going into this because that's what's going to set me up to be more excited about reading this because I love like the witches and the vampires, and even if it has even werewolves in it, that would make it even better because I love all the fictional characters like that you get. But yeah, I'm excited to get to these three, and probably will read these during Halloween also. And then the last three books are also part of a series. I read the first one last month and loved it. It was a reread for me. I loved it all over again. And I'm excited to get to reread the second one, and then the last two will be first time reads for me. And those books are A Reaper at the Gate, A Torch Against the Night, and the newest and final book in this series is Sky Beyond the Storm. All four of these are by Sabaa Tahir. And Ember in the Ashes, it's about this girl, I can't remember if it's how you say it, if it's Leia or Leia, how you say her name, but her brother gets taken and she ends up going to this school to be a maid, to be like a spy against the leader of this school, and she ends up becoming friends with the leader's son, and now at the end of the book it really leaves you on a cliffhanger wanting to figure out what happens, and I'm excited to get to the second one. It's very action-packed, and for me, my advice, you either like this series or you don't. There's no in between with it because it is an older YA series besides the newest one that came out I think 2 years ago, and you can definitely tell it is, but I really enjoy it and I'm excited to continue and finish the series, see what I think about it. But that is it for this video. Those are the books that I really want to get to before the end of the year or in the next couple of months during spooky season. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button down below. Also, if you have read any of these books, let me know what your opinions are of them and whether you think I will like them or not. And if you want to know when I am posting, hit that subscribe and that notification bell, because then you'll be the first to know when I am posting. And until next time, keep on reading, people. Bye!